The Mercedes Benz C112 was an Italian design and built Mercedes supercar concept unveiled in 1991. Designed by Bruno Sacco, the head of styling for Daimler at the time, famous for designing the Benz C111, W123, and the R129. The C112 was intended to be the street legal version of Sauber C11 Group C prototype built for the World Sports Prototype Championship. The C112 was a mid-engine, rear-wheel drive powered by Mercedes Benz 6-liter M12 V8, the same V8 famous for being in the Pagani Zonda. This V12 made 402 horsepower with 428 pound-feet of torque, meaning this car was more powerful than Ferrari's supercar of the time, the F355, but less powerful than Ferrari's hypercar offering, the F40, placing the C112 somewhere between the two. Theoretically, the C112 can go 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds and had a top speed of 192 miles per hour, and at its highest speed can produce 220 pounds of downforce. Now, these numbers weren't confirmed because this car was never driven. Now, let me tell you how this car was built. The car's body panels was made out of riveted aluminum and Kevlar that was bonded to an aluminum monocoque with an integrated steel roll cage. The body was built in Turin, Italy by coach builder Carrozzeria Calgiolo, with the chassis being supplied by Daimler. The car's special 5-spoke magnesium wheels were built by Speedline and were 18 inches in the front and rear. An 18-inch rim was considered a massive size for cars back in the early 90s. The C112 also had an active aero provided through the front spoiler and the rear wing, with the wing acting as an air brake in an emergency situation. The most interesting thing about Mercedes-Benz C112 was the fact that it had gold wing doors. Doors that are typically featured on the most famous Mercedes, such as the 300 CL and the SLS. So this car could have been the fastest gold wing Mercedes if it went into production in 1991. So the C112 was a beast of a car with legendary heritage and would have been easily one of the greatest cars of the 90s. So why didn't Mercedes build it? Well, because they really didn't want to. So yeah, Mercedes decided they didn't need to build a world-defining supercar, so they didn't. Even as the orders came in for it, that didn't sway their decision. And here we are 30 years later, pining over what would have been one of the most amazing sports cars of any time. And I'm really wondering what the thought process was in Mercedes at the time and why they thought that this car wasn't necessary after putting so much effort into designing and building it. Coincidentally, the race series that the race version of this car was in folded in 1992. I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that this car wasn't released. I'm just putting that out there for those people that are interested in that type of trivia. Now, if you're like me, you're probably wondering where this car is now and where you can go see this gold wing beauty. And no worries, you can go see this at Mercedes-Benz Museum, Stuttgart, Germany, even though the museum is temporarily closed due to the global crisis. So tell me, what do you think of Mercedes-Benz C112? Do you think that the car was as good as they said it was? Do you think it could compete with the top cars of its era? And do you think the car would still be relevant today if it were built? And if you watch this video to the end, I just want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate the support. Like if you want to, subscribe if you want to, and with that said, I'll catch you in the next one.